Imagine that your life can change completely, not with huge decisions or supernatural miracles, but with small, gradual steps that you can take, even in your worst moments of laziness. Yes, laziness is not your enemy, but it is a sign telling you that there is a simpler and smarter way to accomplish what you want. This book is not about becoming a super person, but about learning how to do what is necessary despite your feeling of lack of desire or enthusiasm. We are accustomed to associating discipline with iron strength and unbreakable will, as if it is a privilege for a few exceptional people, but the truth is completely different. Discipline is a skill that anyone can master, even those who describe themselves as lazy. It is not about being strong all the time, but about knowing how to start and how to continue, even with small steps, even when you do not feel like it. In this book, you will discover that discipline is not a prison that restricts you, but a key that frees you. You will learn how to trick your lazy brain to start easily, how to build small but powerful habits, and how to make achievement enjoyable instead of a burden. You will find practical and simplified strategies that suit anyone, regardless of their level of laziness or procrastination. It's a different journey. It's not about self-flagellation or impossible idealism, but about smart realism that makes success available to everyone. If you're tired of empty promises and the superpower line, this book is your realistic guide to getting your work done and getting closer to your goals step by step, even when you're lazy. Before we begin, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe, because what you'll learn today might be the turning point you've been waiting for. Chapter 1. Why do we fail even though we know what to do? How many times have you felt like you knew exactly what to do but didn't do it? Perhaps you knew you had to study, exercise, or finish an important work project, yet you stayed where you were, watching time pass and feeling guilty and frustrated. This feeling is not a weakness in your personality or an inability to succeed, but rather a natural part of the way your mind works. Your mind was designed to save energy. Thousands of years ago, survival required saving effort, avoiding unnecessary work, and postponing difficult tasks until it was necessary to stay alive. Today, the same mechanism is still working, but it has become an obstacle to achieving your dreams. Because the danger that the brain sees is not losing life, but merely facing a task that requires focus or will. Laziness, then, is not your enemy. It is a smart signal from your mind saying, "Don't exhaust yourself, let's look for an easier way." The problem is not with you, but with your lack of understanding of how this natural mechanism works. When you understand the cause of laziness, it becomes easier to control it, and you can use it to your advantage instead of it standing in front of you as a barrier. The first step toward success is to realize that knowledge alone is not enough. Everyone knows what to do, but the difference between those who accomplish and those who postpone lies in the ability to turn knowledge into action. Requires a systematic strategy and a clear plan to deal with the lazy mind instead of fighting it directly. Laziness often appears as an inner voice. Tomorrow is better, I'm not ready yet, I'll sleep a little and then start. But if you pay attention to these voices and understand that they are just warnings from your brain to save energy, you can make the conscious decision and start anyway. Here the difference between mere knowledge and actual action becomes clear. People who succeed are not always the most talented or intelligent, but rather those who have learned how to deal with laziness and how to create a small force of discipline in their daily lives. One small step, every day repeated, becomes a powerful force over time. This is the secret to the difference between success and failure. At the end of this chapter, you must remember one thing. Failure is not a defect and laziness is not a crime. Failure is an opportunity to learn, and laziness is an indicator. When you understand your mind, you learn how to intelligently take it out of your comfort zone and start achieving what you knew you were capable of all along. Success begins with understanding yourself first, then moving with small, steady steps towards your goals. Chapter 2. Brain Deception. How it makes us procrastinate and be lazy. Have you ever wondered why you always find yourself postponing what you know is important? Why do you tell yourself, "I'll start later," or "I'm not ready yet," even though you know that procrastination won't serve you? The secret lies in the brain's ingenuity in devising arguments and justifications to save energy. It is very skilled at deceiving you so that you sit there and feel that you are choosing freely, while in fact it is the brain that controls you. The brain is lazy by nature, and this is no joke. Since ancient times, its goal was to protect your body from fatigue and danger. Today, although most of your tasks do not threaten your life, the brain always looks for the easier way. Every time you feel the desire to postpone a task, this is just a clever warning from your mind. Do you really want to make an effort now? The problem is that we take these warnings seriously, so we remain in a cycle of procrastination. In order to break this deception, you must first notice it when the internal voice of procrastination appears. Notice it as a natural phenomenon, not a real camera that must be adhered to. The mind constantly invents arguments, but simply paying attention to this process reduces its control over you. You become an observer of what is happening instead of being a victim of the ideas that your brain deceives you with. They are often very convincing. I will sleep a little first. I must wait for the moment of inspiration. I will do it better tomorrow. All of these are familiar forms of deception of the lazy mind. Strength lies in the ability to differentiate between truth and deception, and to make a conscious decision despite feeling unwilling. The next step is to start with small steps, even if you are not ready. Even if you feel that you lack the energy. Just starting to work changes everything. The mind calms down when it sees that you have taken action and begins to cooperate instead of resisting. This is the secret. Action generates energy, not the other way around. People who succeed know this very well. They do not wait for the perfect mood, nor do they depend on desire or enthusiasm. They simply watch the mind overcome its arguments and begin to implement the task, regardless of the circumstances. Thus, self-deception turns into an opportunity to strengthen discipline and control their lives. In the end, you must understand that the brain is not your enemy. It is just a very clever argument maker, and you have to be a little smarter than it. Consciously noticing the traps it sets and immediately starting to work, even if you are lazy, is the true way to overcome procrastination and build an inner strength that guarantees you can accomplish what seems impossible. Chapter 3. Discipline is not superpower. Many people think that discipline means being always strong, without a wince, without a moment of weakness. They believe that disciplined people are superheroes born with an unshakable, steely will. The truth is completely different. Discipline is not about superpowers, but about the ability to take small, continuous steps, even in the most difficult moments. True discipline appears in the details of daily life. Every time you choose to do what must be done, despite laziness or boredom, you are building your inner strength. You are not required to be perfect all the time, but to start and continue, even if it is just one small step. These repeated steps are what make the big difference in the long run. The secret lies in realizing that action is more important than the perfect state. Do not wait for enthusiasm or a good mood, and do not search for the right moment. Every moment of procrastination increases laziness and weakens your ability to accomplish, while just starting, even with something simple, creates an inner energy that pushes you to continue. Discipline does not mean deprivation or being harsh on yourself, but rather a conscious choice that makes your life clearer and more organized. It is the ability to say, I will do it now, even when you do not want to, only to discover after a while that this action is simpler than you expected and that you are capable of more than you thought. People who succeed know that discipline is a skill that can be learned, not a trait they are born with. They start with small steps, repeat them, and make them part of their daily routine, and over time, these natural habits become part of their personality, gradually and sustainably changing their lives. Every small step you take today adds to your strength tomorrow. Don't underestimate the value of what you do now, even if it seems simple or unimportant. Discipline, in essence, is turning the desire to procrastinate into continuous action and turning laziness into a productive force in the end. Remember that discipline is not magic or a supernatural will. It is a daily decision, a small habit, and a smart system that you build for yourself. Everyone, even the lazy one, can become disciplined if they understand this secret and begin applying it with steady steps. Strength lies not in being without weakness, but in learning how to act despite it. Chapter 4. The Rule of Starting Small. The hardest part is always the beginning. We often stand before a big task and hesitate, feeling its weight or thinking that the effort required is greater than our current capacity. But the simple truth is that beginning is not complicated. It only requires one small step, even if it is only 1 minute. The secret of the small step is that it breaks the barrier of psychological laziness. When you start any simple action, even if it is just writing one line, a short exercise, or one page of a book, your mind sees that you have started and begins to cooperate with you instead of resisting. This small step launches the wheel of action and opens the way for continuity. The small step removes the feeling of intimidation. Big tasks usually seem intimidating because they are vague or require a lot of assembly, keys, and energy, but dividing them into small, achievable parts makes the task possible and turns the feeling of helplessness into a feeling of strength and early achievement. Starting small does not mean working without a goal, but rather it means starting in an intelligent way. Focus on one movement, one step, a simple action that can be controlled. Now, once your body and mind are moving, it becomes easy to move to the next step. And thus the achievements follow without feeling pressure or excessive psychological fatigue. Success in daily habits depends on this principle. Every great habit was once a very small step. Every successful person started with one step, then another step. And then this small repetition turned into a powerful force that cannot be ignored. People who resist laziness and continue know the value of starting small. They do not wait for inspiration or full energy, but rather start with what they can do now, no matter how small. This habit alone distinguishes them from others and creates confidence in them that achievement is always possible, no matter how difficult it seems in the end. Remember that every great start begins with a simple movement. Do not worry about size or perfection. Just start with 1 minute, 1 page, one small step, and you will suddenly find yourself moving, achieving, and getting closer to your goals than you ever dreamed of. Chapter 5. The Power of a Simple Routine. The daily routine is the secret weapon against laziness. When something becomes a repeated habit, it turns into a natural part of your life. It does not require a supernatural will or continuous enthusiasm. This is the secret of disciplined people. They are not more powerful than you, but they have a simple and effective routine that devotes success day after day. A routine does not mean that your life should be boring or repetitive. It means that you provide your mind and body's energy with a clear path of action. When you know what to do every morning or evening, the hesitations disappear, and it becomes starting is easier. A small repeated step becomes a habit, and a habit turns into a constant force. A simple routine gives you a sense of security and control. Every day you start with the same steps. You feel accomplished and gain confidence that you are able to manage your day. This sense of control reduces anxiety and gives you more energy to deal with sudden challenges. You don't have to create a complicated routine full of strict rules and plans. All you need is a small series of implementable habits daily. 1 page of reading, 5 minutes of meditation, or a short exercise. These small details add up to a powerful force in the long run. A simple routine frees you from relying on enthusiasm or mood. Don't wait to feel ready or willing to do the work. Repeated habits make starting natural. Over time, habits become part of your identity, and daily action becomes automatic and irresistible. Successful people know this secret well. They don't leave their lives to chaos or spur-of-the-moment decisions. Rather, they create a daily system that makes it easy for them to accomplish. Thus, laziness and procrastination turn into a productive force that controls their lives, instead of them controlling them in the end. Remember that every simple habit practiced daily is a seed of strength. Do not underestimate the impact of 1 page, 5 minutes, or a small step. With repetition, these seeds become a large tree of discipline and success, making every day a new opportunity to be stronger, more effective, and more successful. Chapter 6. How to make discipline fun. Many think that discipline is about being harsh on oneself and depriving oneself of comfort and pleasure. But the truth is that discipline can be fun if we know how to link it to pleasure and motivation. When daily tasks become an enjoyable experience, commitment turns from a burden into a choice that gives you energy and enthusiasm. The first step to making discipline fun is about adding small rewards after each accomplishment. Don't wait for the big rewards at the end of the road, but rather give yourself something simple immediately after completing a task, such as a short break, a cup of coffee, or a moment to relax. This association between action and pleasure makes the brain prefer to perform tasks instead of postponing them. You can also use music or motivating audio while performing tasks. A favorite song or a short motivational podcast makes the task feel less burdensome and more engaging. When discipline is linked to sensory pleasure, the brain becomes cooperative rather than resistant. Sharing accomplishments with a friend or group is another way to make discipline fun. When you see others share their goals and celebrate small successes with you, your sense of responsibility increases. The task becomes more enjoyable and commitment becomes easier. You can also turn daily tasks into small challenges. For example, challenge yourself to finish a task by a specific time, complete a certain number of pages, or perform a specific exercise. Challenge stimulates the mind, breaks boredom, and makes the activity seem like a fun game rather than a routine burden. Successful people know that discipline doesn't have to be a constant struggle. They make every step a pleasurable and motivating experience. This is the secret to their consistency. The mind naturally responds to pleasure, so if you associate action with pleasure, the action becomes automatic and consistency becomes much easier. Ultimately, remember that discipline is a tool to your advantage, not a punishment. When you connect daily tasks to pleasure and motivation, small habits turn into sustained energy, and commitment becomes automatic. This way, success will never feel like a burden. It will be a continuous pleasure that grows with every step you take. Chapter 7. Dealing with setbacks and natural laziness. Even the most disciplined people don't achieve 100% commitment all the time. We all experience moments of weakness, procrastination, or chaos in our daily lives. This is normal and not a personal failing. The real secret lies in quickly getting back on track after any setback instead of wallowing in guilt or giving in to despair. Natural laziness is a part of life, not a permanent obstacle. When you understand that setbacks will happen, you'll be prepared to deal with them intelligently rather than letting them suddenly shock you. Every moment of procrastination or mistake isn't the end of the road, but rather an opportunity to reset and come back stronger. The first step to overcoming setbacks is to stop beating yourself up. Many fall into the trap of frustration and start to hold themselves accountable severely, which increases pressure and prolongs the period of procrastination. Instead, accept the moment as it is and remember that everyone makes mistakes, and success is not permanent perfection, but rather long-term continuity. The second step is to immediately return to action. Do not wait for the next perfect day or full energy, but start now, no matter how small the beginning. 1 minute of work today puts the brain back on track and breaks the cycle of continuous laziness. Setbacks are an opportunity to learn something about yourself and your mind. Note when and why you felt lazy and what factors led to procrastination. In this way, mistakes turn into valuable data that helps you improve your routine and future habits, instead of turning into an obstacle. Disciplined people know that flexibility is part of discipline. Discipline does not mean rigidity, but rather the ability to quickly get back on track after each deviation. Each time you overcome a setback, your ability to control yourself is strengthened, and commitment becomes easier with each experience. Finally, remember that true discipline is not measured by not falling, but by the speed of recovery. Laziness is part of human nature, but strength lies in your ability to quickly return and work again. With this approach, you turn setbacks into steps toward success instead of a permanent obstacle. Chapter 8. The Environment of Discipline. How do you arrange your environment to support you? Laziness thrives in chaos, while discipline thrives in an organized and stimulating environment. Your daily surroundings have a direct impact on your ability to stick to habits and tasks. The place you work in, the tools you use, and even the small cues around you all determine your level of productivity and your continued discipline. The first step is to organize your place and surroundings. A tidy desk, an organized bed, and ready-made tools. All these details make starting work or a daily task easier. Everything in its place sends a clear message to your mind that it is time to work and reduces the need for massive willpower to get started. Avoid distractions as much as possible. The phone, the TV, or any items that easily distract you can be a major obstacle. When you reduce these distractions, natural focus becomes available and daily tasks progress smoothly without you feeling stressed or psychologically distracted. Visual cues help motivate. A notebook on the table, a hanging list of goals, or a small motivational poster are all constant reminders that push you to work. These cues stimulate the brain and make you focus on what is important instead of drowning in procrastination. You can also organize your environment so that it is easy to start automatically for good habits. If you want to exercise, put your sports clothes ready in a visible place. If you want to read, have the book on the table where you sit. Everything is ready. This reduces the starting barrier and makes the habit much easier. The environment supports you not only in starting, but also in continuing. When your surroundings become friendly to discipline, you will not need superhuman willpower every day. The habit works for you automatically and productivity becomes a natural pattern in your life. In the end, remember that the environment is a powerful tool for success. Do not make your surroundings an obstacle, but rather make them your partner. Organize your space, reduce distractions, add motivating cues, and watch how your life gradually transforms into a space that supports achievement and discipline instead of hindering them. Chapter 9. Discipline is the path to freedom. Many think that discipline means restrictions, that you make your life restricted by rules and routine, and that you become a strict person without fun. But the truth is that discipline is not a prison, but rather the key to true freedom. Every good habit you adopt and every small step you implement gives you the ability to control your life instead of it controlling you. When you control your daily habits and decisions, you get rid of the cycle of procrastination and regret. You don't live under the pressure of piling up tasks or constant guilt. Instead, you start each day with a clear plan, a small step, and continuous action that guarantees you progress toward your goals. This freedom does not come from chaos or improvisation, but from the power of thoughtful discipline. Discipline makes your choices clearer. Instead of wasting time in confusion or internal resistance, you know what to do, how to do it, and when to do it. Every decision becomes less stressful and every task less burdensome. Freedom lies in being the one who chooses, not bad habits, laziness, or the circumstances that surround you. The small repeated steps that we learned in the previous chapters, from small beginnings to simple routines, from a supportive environment to transforming discipline into pleasure, are all tools that give you the real ability to build your life. Every day you practice these habits, you become closer to the life you desire and move away from a life of improvisation and chaos. People who achieve success do not restrict themselves with rules. They are not only strict but also use discipline to create greater opportunities. They are free to choose their path because their habits support them and their discipline makes them able to face challenges without. They lose control or focus. True freedom comes when you are not a slave to laziness, momentary desires, or the excuses your brain creates. Discipline gives you the ability to say yes to what matters to you and no to what distracts your time and energy. In this way, you create your life instead of being a hostage to circumstances or fleeting desires. In the end, remember that every small habit, every regular step, every organized environment, and every setback you overcome are all elements that build true freedom for you. Discipline is not a restriction, but rather your path to becoming the person you have always wanted to be and living the life you choose, not the one imposed on you by laziness or chaos. Before we conclude this audiobook, I invite you to subscribe to the channel and activate the bell to receive every new audiobook. The Audiobook Magazine channel is growing and developing thanks to you, so be a member of a community that loves reading and self-development. Conclusion: discipline is not just a word or a theoretical concept, but rather a real tool for shaping your life. Every small step you take, every daily habit you adopt, and every conscious decision you make adds strength to your character and brings you closer to your goals. Success is not just luck or talent, but the result of your continued doing the right thing despite difficulties and inner laziness. The secret to discipline is not superpowers, but a deep understanding of the nature of your mind and the ability to use it to your advantage. When you know how to deal with laziness, start with small steps, and create a simple, enjoyable routine, you transform from mere knowledge to action, and from unfulfilled dreams to tangible achievements. Life will not wait for your perfect preparation or the perfect moment of inspiration. Every day that passes is a new opportunity to begin, correct your course, and strengthen your habits. The real challenge is to start now with a small step and continue until these steps turn into a lasting force that leads you toward the success and freedom you seek. In the end, remember that discipline is your choice, your weapon, and your path to true freedom. Don't make it a burden, but rather make it a tool to empower yourself to become the person you've always wanted to be and build the life you dream of. The road ahead begins with a step, and each step brings you closer to your better life.